Where is Wrathion in Legion?
He's definitely there.
Cool. So, I think he's still in Pandaria, right?
Well, actually, he may have some interest in the zone of High Mountain, which of course features Notharion's lair, and that is a person of some interest to Wrathion. So, if he were to be lurking, it might be a good place to look for him.
Or under Tearsfall.
For those of you that played beta, Wrathion was around. We tried to get him into High Mountain in one of the quest lines, and more so, he doesn't fall off. Not that he was integral to the narrative. And we actually ran into a lot of problems with it. There was just time issues, timetable issues that we just really couldn't get to work. So for now, you have things like Wrathion, who we had no idea where his arc would go. And it's just about who gets geeked up about the character or the whatever it might be, or the story, and where they want to take it. So that started out in Badlands, and then the next thing you know, it's all over the place, and it's awesome, and it's something we want to do more of. So
we talked about plans for him for various other things, but right now nothing's really for Black Prince Wrathion.
Okay. Yeah, because you even teased a genre.
Next time, I will leave nothing to chance. Nothing!
What is up, everyone? I hope everyone enjoyed BlizzCon last weekend and are as hyped as I am for some of the announcements made there. As much as I can go on about my thoughts and opinions for Battle for Azeroth, I want to focus on something that was not talked about during BlizzCon, much to my dismay, and that is the Black Prince Wrathion himself. Quick warning that I will be freely talking about spoilers here, so if you want to avoid them, this video might not be for you. Ah, Wrathion, one of Blizzard's most complex characters with a fascinating origin story and excellently written, morally grey character. He's one of the only purified black dragons out there, and was a key character during Mists of Pandaria. He made it a point countless times that the Burning Legion was coming, and his presence in that expansion could hardly go unnoticed. Hype built around him for so long, and Wrathion was even a key player in setting off the events that led to Warlords of Draenor, and since then, Blizzard has pretty much dropped him out of the lore. Every year so far since his disappearance, I've wondered why exactly they haven't put him back in. Blizzard can come up with the excuse that they don't know where to take him as much as they want, but I won't buy it for a second. The last two expansions and now coming up third have had plenty of opportunities for him to show up and partake in a role of some kind. And no, I'm not going to count the Warlords cameo or the Deaths of Chromie cameo as Wrathion content. That is not enough. See, for Warlords, Wrathion could have returned in any number of ways. An Easter egg quest where maybe Anduin enlists you to hunt down the Black Dragon through Draenor and bring him to justice. I say Anduin since they were friends throughout Mists, and Wrathion betrayed him during Hellscream's trials. It could have entailed a questline that could delve deeper into Anduin's character arc, if, say, he were to sneak into Draenor with the player and then realize the true fear of war. Maybe even draw parallels between the first war that his own father witnessed as a child. This would give opportunity for Wrathion to confront his actions, discuss whether or not this was a mistake or fully intentional, and what he plans to do next now that the Iron Horde is wreaking havoc upon Azeroth. Or Khadgar could have found him, or Wrathion could have appeared at the end of any of the Warlords' raids and opened up a questline where he enlists help from the players to find some artifacts or something to continue the quest to save Azeroth. There were plenty of opportunities that could have been squeezed in somehow. Hell, even just 2 quests where he explains himself that it ends with him saying he needs to go into hiding again or something would have been better than whatever content this was. Also, while I'm on the Warlord subject, I do want to note that during the Legion Alpha, when Wrathion was originally in it, he said that he wanted to create an army of orcs during Warlords, but it went awry with Hellscream. But technically, the orcs of Draenor kind of are allied with us after the end of Warlords. Yrel said it herself that they'd be there if we needed them, but it seems Blizzard wants to erase all evidence that they had of Warlords of Draenor even existing, so there's that.
If you ever need us, we will be here.
Until we meet again.
And I would have been able to forgive not having Wrathion in Warlords if it weren't for his absence and replacement in Legion. Legion was the one expansion that Wrathion absolutely should have been a part of. Instead, characters like Khadgar, Illidan, and Magni got the attention that should have, in all respects, gone to Wrathion. Spirit Walker Ebonhorn was originally going to be Wrathion, but was cut and made into a separate character. Doing this not only ousted Wrathion from a significant role in Legion, but also made him a little less special by saying Ebonhorn was also a purified black dragon. Technically, Wrathion should have at least been able to sense Ebonhorn, since it's said that Wrathion can sense the existence of other black dragons, which is how he had them killed. If Wrathion wasn't going to be Ebonhorn, they could have at least had him pay a visit to High Mountain to search for Ebonhorn and maybe attempt to kill him and fail. The potential dynamic between him and Ebonhorn would have also provided some solid character development for the both of them. How would Wrathion feel to know that he's not alone, and that he's not the only black dragon free from the old god's corruption as well? Would he maybe regret killing the other black dragons if he learned that he could have saved them instead with the Hammer of Katieskarlette? And then there's the matter of Anduin, now newly crowned king. Again, there's some unresolved history between them, and technically, since Wrathion's betrayal led to warlords, which in turn led to the Legion to happen, Wrathion is indirectly responsible even for Varian's death. A lot of ground could have been covered if they were to reunite. Wrathion's crimes have gone unanswered for thus far, and in my opinion, it should be Anduin that makes them answer for it. Unfortunately, all of these opportunities have been missed thus far, and it seems that Blizzard is about to try and miss yet another brilliant opportunity.
We've talked about plans for him for various other things, but right now nothing's really planned for Battle for Azeroth.
It's bad enough that there are dozens of unresolved storylines that WoW has yet to touch on, but the one thing I've been counting on for years is Wrathion's return, and I just don't want to go on another year of that. So, here's an idea for how Wrathion could fit into Battle for Azeroth. First off, I sincerely hope that we get a mention at the very least of Wrathion in the upcoming novel Before the Storm by Christy Golden. That would be a perfect opportunity to reintroduce him to the storyline, and I have a sneaking suspicion, or at least wishful thinking, that we might see him in it. According to Ian Bates, or the Red Shirt guy, Wrathion is currently in the Battle for Azeroth Alpha, at least upon making this video. He can be found in a corner in a new spot in Stormwind known as the Alliance Embassy. All other Alliance leaders are present in that room, as well as Wrathion. It's assumed he's joined the Alliance since he isn't present in the Horde Embassy, and unless this is just a nifty Easter egg that'll get removed from the Alpha just like he did the last time, I think this is reason enough to suspect that he could at least get a passing mention of his existence in the book. Hopefully. With the allied races coming, the Horde will be aided by the High Mountain Tauren, which would also mean that Spiritwalker Ebonhorn would most undoubtedly be among them. In this case, the playing field is even, as both Horde and Alliance will each then have a purified black dragon in their arsenal. Wrathion could play a role as the Spy Master, or work alongside the SI-7 and lead incognito missions. His ability to assume different illusions would help him immensely in sneaking and spying on others, especially that of the Horde if need be. After all, Wrathion has spent the majority of his time surrounded by rogues, so I'm sure he's learned a thing or two from them. He could also serve as Anduin's personal bodyguard and interact with the other rogues like Veela and maybe even Tess Greymane. There could also be the opportunity to demonstrate conflicts of interest. Wrathion has made it known that his allegiances are his own, and even though he last sided with the Alliance back in Mist after Garrosh spiraled down, he could always just turn back depending on who's winning.
What? Yes, I was backing the Alliance. I thought Hellscream's victory was assured before he turned half of his horde against him, so I changed my allegiance. Oh, don't look so surprised. I'm a black dragon. My loyalties are my own. But that idiot Rin, High King indeed. Why did he allow another war chief? He could have united the world under the Alliance banner. What a fool I was to trust his ambition.
He simply wishes to see one faction prevail over the other rather than see balance between them. If he's close enough to the High King of the Alliance, he could even attempt to manipulate the other leaders subtly by feeding ideas to them. For example, sowing more rage within King Greymane, since his anger tends to get the best of him. If he can push others to make the decisions they need to win the war, Wrathion would succeed. Outside of that, Wrathion would most certainly have interest in the Azerites spilling out. Sargeras wounded Azeroth, and that gash in Silithus can't just go ignored. Wrathion wants to protect Azeroth. He's a black dragon. He can hear the calls of the earth. Realizing such a horrible thing had happened to this world would hurt him, and there's enough potential in that alone for him to make any rash decision based off of it. All I'm saying is that there is potential, and I just don't see why Wrathion can't be squeezed in the lore. There's enough openings, enough to work with, enough opportunities, and yet they just keep getting dismissed or fulfilled with different characters. Like, hey, listen, I think it's pretty cool that Magni Bronzebeard gets to be the voice of Azeroth, but how about there's two of them, Wrathion's a black dragon, he should be able to hear Azeroth's call. Actually, you know what? Maybe that can be an excuse as to why Wrathion hasn't been around. Azeroth's been talking to him at the same time as Magni, and Wrathion's been running around the world trying to gather resources and intel and how to better fight the war, all the while not being seen. Hence why in the future we'll see him taking an interest in the Obsidian Dragon Shrine in Northrend. Come on, there's gotta be something he can do. Well, what are your thoughts on Wrathion? What would you like to see him doing in the next expansion? Anything I missed here you'd like to point out, or do you just not care about Wrathion in general? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and thank you so much for those who have been very patient for my absence for the past few months on YouTube. I'll be sure to pick up my slack in the next coming few months. Thank you for your patience. Shout out to Wowily, Party of 3, and Kimberly Ann for supporting me on Patreon as well. I appreciate it immensely. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.